The second day of our Balkan adventure started just like any other one, until Mihai's bike skidded into chaos, leaving us in a Serbian hospital and being questioned by the police. We began with high hopes, a scenic ride along the stunning Danube river, weaving through lush forests and chasing the adventure with plans. Everything was perfect until it stopped. Even though the crash couldn't be avoided, better gear could have kept us out of the hospital. Mihai's low-cut summer bike shoes might have been great for style, but let's just say the hospital doctors were less impressed.
At least it's green.
How did we end up in a hospital, giving statements to Serbian police, and what happened next in our journey? Stick around to find out. After filling up our gas tanks, we finished up on what was yesterday's plan, to make it to the Serbian border. After a quick document check, we crossed into Serbia and started cruising along the Danube River, contemplating its beauty. This section is known as the Iron Gates, where the river narrows dramatically as it cuts through the mountains, creating some of the most stunning views in the region. Once we soaked in the views along the Danube, we turned southwest, leaving the river behind to head towards Kosovo. The road quickly became a bit rougher, but that's exactly what made it feel like we were getting off the beaten path. The twists and turns led us deeper into the Serbian countryside, and the forest we rode through was perfectly lit to put a smile on our faces. Every bump in the road just added to the adventure. As we came out of the forest and onto the main road, we had no idea that just up ahead there was a stone quarry. The dust from the quarry was settling on the road, creating a fine, slippery layer on the asphalt. We would soon find out the hard way just how much that dust would affect us. Seeing my friend crash right in front of me and hearing his reaction through the intercom was pretty gnarly. But somehow I managed to stay calm and focused. The moment I saw him sliding on the road, I switched on my hazard lights, I followed his path and stopped just ahead of him to shield him from any oncoming traffic. After a moment to catch our breath, we assessed the situation. Mihai was able to walk, which was a huge relief, but we knew that adrenaline can mask pain, so we decided to keep the weight of his injured foot as much as possible. Before long, some locals arrived to help us pick up the bike. They mentioned that this spot was notorious for accidents, something that hospital staff would later confirm as well. And while crashing is never ideal, if you're going to fall, doing it right in front of a hospital is about as lucky as it gets. We headed straight to the emergency room, and after a bit of searching and some awkward mumbling, we finally found it.
So jedan motor ili dva motora? One bike or two bikes?
Two bikes.
The doctors and staff were incredibly kind and helpful. While they took Mihai in for an X-ray, I ran to the exchange office to sort out some local currency to pay for the medical services.
Okay.
But this hurts a lot.
Okay. So only your ankle is,
Yes.
maybe it would be best to make one day
we can
rest, just in case. I hope it's nothing serious.
Just as we were starting to relax, thinking the worst was behind us, two police officers walked into the room and headed straight for us. For a moment we froze, unsure of what was happening, like were we in any sort of trouble? But as it turns out, in Serbia it's standard procedure for hospitals to notify the police whenever there's a road accident. They were there simply to document the incident and ensure everything was in order. One of the officers even surprised us by speaking Romanian. He had studied in Romania years ago. That small connection helped lighten the mood, and they turned out to be very polite and professional. In the end, their presence wasn't as intimidating as it initially seemed, and they reassured us that this step was necessary for both safety and to avoid complications if we would have been leaving the country with a damaged vehicle. Following the doctor's advice, we checked into a local hotel to give Mihai's ankle some time to recover. With great food, cold beers and a zip-tied ice pack solution that would make any DIY enthusiast proud, we were sure his foot would feel better by morning. Or so we thought.